Today, I'm excited to announce my return to cruising after the pandemic. It's been 17 months of no cruises for me and Kellen after doing 51 cruises since 1996. So I think it's about time to get cruising again. We got an opportunity that we just couldn't pass up. And I think the destination is going to catch you by surprise because if you've watched some of my cruise videos before, you probably know that almost every one of the 51 cruises that we've done so far have been to warm weather destinations like the Caribbean or the Mexican Riviera. Our one cruise to Alaska was the only exception. So I think you're going to be surprised to hear the details about this next cruise. Viking Ocean Cruises is getting started cruising again following the pandemic, and they've invited me and Kellen at their expense to do a cruise on one of their ships, along with some other YouTubers and other media people, so that we can help to get the word out that Viking is back and cruising again. Kellen and I, believe it or not, are going to be flying to Reykjavik, Iceland, to board the Viking Sky for a 7-day cruise all the way around the island of Iceland. We'll be visiting 6 different locations in Iceland, 4 of which I have no idea how to pronounce. Now, Reykjavik I can pronounce. The Westman Islands I can pronounce that too, but goal number 1 for the cruise will be to learn how to pronounce these 4 other ports of call. Wish me luck. Now, we've cruised with Viking Ocean Cruises twice before, and it's one of our favorite cruise lines. A Viking Ocean cruise is hugely better than most cruises because Viking does a lot of things differently than most of the other cruise lines. For example, a cruise with Viking is completely uncrowded. While most of the cruise ships we sail on these days carry at least 3,000 passengers, and some carry as many as 6,000 passengers, a Viking Ocean cruise ship carries only 930 passengers. Yet the ships are still large and modern. The net effect is that you just don't feel crowded on a Viking Ocean cruise because you aren't. Also, they are not constantly trying to get extra revenue from you once you're on board. A few examples. Viking doesn't have bingo. They don't have a casino, art auctions, photographers, or they don't pressure you into purchasing products during spa treatments. And every Viking cabin has a balcony, even the least expensive cabins. There are no inside cabins or ocean view cabins on Viking ships. Smoking is nearly completely prohibited on the ship. There's just one small smoking area on one portion of one side of the very highest deck of the ship. Other than in that one area where you would probably never go anyway, it is a non-smoking ship. There are no formal nights. In the evenings, if you attend a show or eat in a restaurant other than the buffet, they do ask that you dress a little nicer than casual. In other words, no shorts, no jeans, no t-shirts, but it is a fairly casual ship. For example, there's no need for men to bring a coat and tie unless you want to. A Viking Ocean cruise is an adult cruise. There are no children aboard Viking ships. In fact, you have to be at least 18 years of age to cruise with Viking, and the average Viking passenger is in their 50s, 60s, or 70s. The other thing that's interesting about the passengers on a Viking cruise is that they're almost all Americans. That's Viking's target audience. So English is the language of a Viking cruise, and everything on the ship, from the food to the entertainment, is tailored to American tastes. In other words, it's the exact opposite of a cruise on MSC, which was the worst cruise of the 51 cruises that we've done so far. The cabins on Viking ships have some of the best design details you'll find among all the cruise lines. A few examples are heated floors in the cabin bathroom and a heated mirror that will not fog up when you take a shower. There are electrical outlets and USB charging ports on both sides of the bed as well as at the desk. And there's a clever desk design that provides some storage space as well as a big mirror for applying makeup. Now, with so many things going for it, I'm sure you've realized that a Viking Ocean cruise is not an inexpensive cruise, but you have to keep in mind that many things that would cost you extra on the other cruise lines are included at no extra charge on Viking. I'm going to tell you what some of those things are right after this. Things that are included at no extra charge on a Viking Ocean cruise that you would pay extra for on most other cruise lines. Internet access, specialty dining, room service, beer, wine, and soda at lunch and dinner, the entire contents of the fully stocked refrigerator in your cabin, specialty coffees, teas, bottled water, self-service laundry facilities, the thermal suite and the spa, and movies on demand in your cabin. They're all included at no extra charge. Even port taxes and fees that a lot of other cruise lines are a little sneaky about are fully included at no additional charge to Viking's advertised prices. So we totally loved our 2 previous Viking Ocean cruises, and we're super excited about this upcoming one on Viking Sky. Interesting trivia fact, the first Viking Ocean cruise ship that was built was Viking Star, and that was the first Viking ship that we sailed on. The second Viking Ocean cruise ship that was built was Viking Sea, and that was the second Viking ship that we sailed on. The third Viking Ocean cruise ship that was built was Viking Sky, and that's going to be our 3rd cruise with Viking. We didn't do it on purpose, but we've got a pattern going. There are currently 3 other Viking Ocean cruise ships that we haven't sailed on yet, plus 9 more coming in the next 6 years, not to mention their fleet of 76 river vessels, so I think it's fair to say that this probably won't be our last cruise with Viking. We really like what they're doing, and we want to spread the word about what a great cruise line Viking is. Now, I know that a few cynical people watching this are thinking that I'm just saying all this because Viking is taking us on a free cruise. But the truth is that I've been a Viking fan since the very first time we cruised with them, and that was fully at our expense, by the way. But also, I never would have accepted a free cruise from Viking if I didn't really admire and believe in their product. I want to help get the word out about Viking because a Viking cruise is a fantastic cruise. The one we went on in 2019, which was a 10-day Caribbean cruise, that was one of the best cruises we had ever been on. I'm putting a link up in the corner of the screen to the video that I made about that cruise. It was one that Kellen and I will never forget. And by the way, while Viking isn't charging us anything for the cruise itself, and they even pay for my airfare since I'm the YouTuber they want on board, if I want to bring anyone along with me, like my wife, I have to pay for her airfare out of my own pocket. And regarding my airfare, they only pay for a seat in coach. We live a long way from Iceland. It's a long overnight flight to get there. I need a business class seat for a flight like that. So this free cruise is costing us over $7,000 for the airfare and a hotel the night before the cruise. Now, I'm not complaining. I'm just letting you know that it's definitely not really a free vacation, and I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. Now, one question I haven't answered yet is, when is this cruise going to be? Look, even though we have a very effective burglar alarm installed here at our new house in Washington, I just don't think it's smart for me to announce the exact dates that the house is going to be empty. So let's just say that our Iceland cruise with Viking will be this summer. You don't think I'd go to Iceland in the winter, do you? No way. Well, that's it for now. I don't think I'll be making any other videos about this prior to the actual trip, but once we get back home from our big Iceland adventure, you can be sure that there will be at least a couple of videos here on YouTube about all the fun we had, the interesting places we got to see, and all the things we love about a cruise on a Viking Ocean cruise ship. I'm Jim Zim. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in booking a cruise on Viking or any other cruise line, feel free to use the services of my travel agent, Caitlin Gallagher. The price is typically about the same whether you book the cruise yourself or whether you book through a travel agent. But the benefit of having a travel agent is that they know what the pitfalls are. They can help you from making a rookie mistake. Also, if things go sideways on your cruise, having a travel agent on your side to resolve the issues is way better than being out there on your own. Send an email to Caitlin or give her a call or visit her website at ambrintravel.com.